You are tired. I am not talking about the kind of fatigue that a night of sleep can cure. I am not talking about the physical exhaustion that comes after a long day of labor, the kind of honest tiredness that settles into the muscles and promises a deep, restorative rest. No, I am speaking of a different kind of exhaustion, a gray, heavy silt that has settled at the very bottom of your soul. It is a fatigue of the spirit. It is the exhaustion of playing a character that you never auditioned for in a play written by people who have been dead for centuries. You wake up, and for a split second there is a possibility of something new. But then, the download begins. The memory of who you are supposed to be floods back in. The anxiety of the schedule, the weight of the expectations, the immediate reflexive reach for the black mirror on your nightstand to check, to verify, to connect with the hive mind before you have even connected with your own breath. This is not an accident. This is not a personal failure of your discipline. This is a design. You are living inside an architecture of control that is so pervasive, so total, that you have mistaken the walls of your prison for the horizon of the world. You believe that this anxiety, this low-level hum of dread that accompanies you from the morning commute to the evening collapse, is simply how life is. You have been gaslit on an existential scale. The system, and when I say the system, I do not mean a government or a corporation, but the interlocking web of cultural conditioning, economic pressure, and psychological manipulation has dominated you. It has colonized your internal landscape. It has paved over the wild forests of your imagination and built a strip mall of desires that are not even your own. You are here because you suspect this. You are here because late at night, when the distractions fade and the silence presses against the glass, you feel a terror that you cannot name. You feel that you are wasting your life, not wasting it by being unproductive, but wasting it by being productive at the wrong things. You are climbing a ladder, rung by bloody rung, only to realize it is leaning against the wrong wall. Today, we are going to look at the 7 behaviors that prove the system has already dominated you. We are going to conduct an autopsy on your daily life to find the tumors of conditioning. This will not be comfortable. This is not designed to make you feel good. It is designed to make you feel real. And reality, when you have been living in a hallucination, often feels like a burn. The first behavior is the absolute intolerance of the void. Observe yourself in the gaps of your life. The elevator ride, the line at the grocery store, the red light, the 3 minutes before the meeting starts. What do? Do you stand there? Do you exist? Do you feel the weight of your body, the temperature of the air, the sheer strangeness of being a conscious entity on a rock spinning through a vacuum? No, you panic. You reach for the device. You check the notification. You scroll. You look for a hit. You cannot bear the silence, because the silence is where the truth lives. Blaise Pascal, the French philosopher, said that all of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone. The system knows this. The system relies on this. If you were to sit quietly, if you were to endure the withdrawal symptoms of the dopamine drip, you might hear the voice that has been screaming in the basement of your psyche. You might hear that you hate your job. You might hear that your relationship is a charade. You might hear that you are afraid of dying, and that this fear is driving every single decision you make. The system dominates you by selling you noise. It sells you distraction not as a luxury, but as a survival mechanism. You are terrified of your own mind. You have outsourced your internal monologue to the algorithm. When you are not consuming, you feel like you are disappearing. This is the first sign of domination. The inability to simply be without input. You have become a processing node in a network, and a node that is not processing data is considered broken. But you are not a machine. You are a consciousness, and your addiction to noise is the chain that binds you. If this resonates, consider subscribing. The second behavior is the performance of happiness. We live in the age of the curated self. You have been trained to view your life not as a subjective experience to be felt, but as an object to be displayed. You are the director, the marketing manager, and the protagonist of a movie that no one is really watching, because everyone else is too busy directing their own. The system has dominated you by convincing you that your value is determined by the perception of others. This is the Das Man that Martin Heidegger spoke of, the they, the amorphous, generalized other that dictates how we should dress, how we should talk, and how we should feel. You post the photo of the vacation, the meal, the smile, but what is happening behind the smile? Is there joy, or is there a desperate need for validation? The system feeds on your insecurity. It creates a deficit of self-worth and then sells you the remedy in the form of likes, status, and material accumulation. You are performing a life rather than living it. You are agonizing over the caption while the sunset fades. You are checking the angles while the laughter dies. You have become a spectator in your own existence, watching yourself live through the lens of how it will look to the audience. This is slavery. It is the slavery of the actor who cannot leave the stage. You are terrified that if you stop performing, if you stop signaling, I am happy, I am successful, I am busy, that you will cease to matter. But the truth is, the you that matters has nothing to do with the performance. The system has hijacked your instinct for social connection and twisted it into a mechanism of self-surveillance. You are your own panopticon. The third behavior, and perhaps the most insidious, is the deferral of existence. You are always waiting. You are waiting for the weekend. You are waiting for the vacation. You are waiting for the promotion. You are waiting for retirement. You are waiting for the moment when your life will finally begin. This is the great lie of the system, that the present moment is merely a currency to be spent to purchase a better future. You sacrifice the now on the altar of the then, but then never arrives. It is a mathematical impossibility. You can only ever experience now. When you get to the future, it will be now. And because you have trained yourself to reject the now, to look past it, to treat it as an obstacle, you will arrive at your deathbed having never actually lived. Seneca warned us about this 2,000 years ago. He said, "While we wait for life, life passes." The system dominates you by trapping you in linear time. It keeps you focused on the carrot dangling in front of your face so you don't notice the cart you're pulling. You endure a job you despise for 40 years, for the promise of 10 years of freedom when your body is failing. You trade your vitality for security, but the security is an illusion. The regret of the dying is never, "I wish I had worked more." It is always, "I wish I had let myself be happier. I wish I had lived a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me." The system relies on you forgetting that you are going to die. It relies on you believing you have infinite time, but you don't. The clock is ticking in your chest right now. Every beat is one less. If you are waiting to live, you are already dead. The fourth behavior is the pathologizing of suffering. The system dominates you by convincing you that negative emotions are a malfunction. If you are sad, something is wrong. If you are anxious, you need a pill. If you are grieving, you need to move on. We have created a sterilized culture that has no language for the dark night of the soul. But human beings are not designed to be perpetually happy. We are designed to be whole, and wholeness includes the shadow. It includes the grief, the rage, the despair. These emotions are not waste products, they are messengers. Your depression is not always a chemical imbalance. Sometimes it is a rational response to living a life that denies your essential nature. When you numb yourself with substances, with entertainment, with busy work, you are cutting the wires to your own dashboard warning lights. The system wants you numb. A numb population is a compliant population, a population that feels its pain is dangerous, because pain demands change. Pain is the catalyst for transformation. If you refuse to feel your pain, you refuse to grow. You remain a child, dependent on the system to soothe you. You must reclaim your right to suffer. You must reclaim your right to weep. In the depths of that despair is the seed of your awakening. As Nietzsche said, one must still have chaos in oneself to be able to give birth to a dancing star. The system wants to organize your chaos, to medicate it away. Resist this. Your chaos is your power. If this resonates, consider subscribing. The fifth behavior is the identification with productivity. You answer the question, "Who are you?" with your job title. You feel guilty when you rest. You monetize your hobbies. You optimize your morning routine. You treat your body like a machine that needs to be fueled and maintained so it can continue to produce output. This is the internalization of capitalism. You have become the capitalist and the laborer in one body. You exploit yourself. You crack the whip on your own back. The system has dominated you by convincing you that your worth is directly tied to your utility. But you are not a tool. You are not a resource. You are a human being. The ancient Greeks understood that leisure, skol, was the basis of culture, of philosophy, of being human. Not time off to recharge for work, but time dedicated to the cultivation of the soul. The system has stolen this from you. It has turned time into money, and therefore, wasting time feels like burning money. But time is not money. Time is life. Time is the raw material of your existence. When you optimize every second, you squeeze the mystery out of life. You kill the serendipity. You kill the poetry. You become a highly efficient biological robot. And the tragedy is, you are proud of it. You wear your burnout like a badge of honor. You compete with others to see who is more exhausted. This is the madness of the slave bragging about the weight of his chains. The sixth behavior is the illusion of choice. You believe you are free because you can choose between 50 brands of cereal, or 100 shows on Netflix, or 2 political parties that serve the same masters. But these are not real choices. These are curated options within a narrow spectrum of acceptable reality. The system dominates you by overwhelming you with trivial decisions so that you never make the profound ones. You spend hours deciding what phone to buy, but you never decide what values to live by. You debate the aesthetics of your prison cell while forgetting to check if the door is locked. Real choice is dangerous. Real choice involves risk. Real choice means stepping off the path that has been laid out for you. Kierkegaard spoke of the dizziness of freedom, the anxiety we feel when we realize that we are responsible for our own lives. To avoid this dizziness, we retreat into the herd. We do what is normal. We follow the script. The system provides the script. It tells you, go to school, get the job, buy the house, marry, reproduce, retire, die. It is a safe path. It is a comfortable path. But it is not your path. When you follow the herd, you end up where the herd is going. And the herd is going off a cliff of existential oblivion. To be free, you must be willing to be weird. You must be willing to be misunderstood. You must be willing to be an outsider. The system punishes the outsider, but the outsider is the only one who is truly alive. The seventh behavior is the severance from the physical world. We live in the abstract. We live in our heads. We live in the cloud. We have lost contact with the soil, the seasons, the rhythms of the earth, and the wisdom of the body. The system creates a synthetic environment where it is always 72 degrees, where food comes in plastic packages, where day and night are rendered meaningless by artificial light. This disconnection makes you weak. It makes you fragile. You are a biological organism evolved for struggle, for movement, for a connection with the elements. When you are cut off from this, you wither. Your body is not just a vehicle for your brain. It is the antenna of your intuition. It is the repository of your trauma and your joy. The system wants you disembodied because a disembodied mind is easier to program. A person who is grounded in their body, who feels the earth under their feet, who knows the capability of their own hands, is harder to control. Reclaiming your physicality is an act of rebellion. Lifting a heavy weight, walking in the rain, growing your own food, these are not just hobbies. They are rituals of re-inhabitation. They are ways of saying, I am here, I am real, I am not a code, I am flesh and blood, and I belong to the earth, not to the economy. Now, I want you to imagine a man. Let's call him Thomas. Thomas did everything right. He got the degree, he got the corner office, he married the right woman, he bought the house in the suburbs, he went to the gym 3 times a week, he watched the popular shows, he voted, he paid his taxes. And then, one Tuesday morning at the age of 45, Thomas sat in his car in the parking lot of his office, gripping the steering wheel, and he couldn't move. He physically could not open the door. A scream was building in his chest, a scream that had been suppressed for 20 years. It wasn't a panic attack. It was a clarity attack. Thomas looked at the glass building and saw it for what it was, a tomb. He looked at his life and saw the strings. He realized that he had spent his entire existence trying to win a game that he didn't even like playing. The collapse of his structure was not a tragedy. It was a rescue mission. The depression that followed, the divorce, the quitting of the job, it looked like a disaster to the outside world. The system looked at Thomas and said, "He has failed." But Thomas had not failed. Thomas had finally woken up. He had to burn his life down to find the warm embers of his own soul in the ashes. He had to enter the void that he had spent decades avoiding. And there, in the silence, in the uncertainty, in the pain, he found the only thing that matters. He found himself. Not the self on the business card, but the consciousness behind the eyes. You do not have to wait for the collapse. You do not have to wait for the heart attack, the divorce, or the diagnosis. You can initiate the collapse intentionally. You can dismantle the prison brick by brick. This is the transition of consciousness. The pain you feel, the emptiness, the frustration. It is not a sign that you are broken. It is a sign that you are ready. It is the growing pain of a soul that has become too big for the small box the system has put it in. So how do we break free? We do not fight the system with Molotov cocktails. We fight it with presence. We fight it with integrity. We fight it by refusing to be fake. The antidote to the domination of the system is authenticity. First, you must habituate yourself to the void. Practice doing nothing. Sit in a chair for 15 minutes a day with no phone, no music, no book. Just sit. Watch the panic arise. Watch the boredom. Do not scratch the itch. Let it burn. In that fire, you're forging a new mind. You're reclaiming your attention. Second, speak the truth. Stop saying, "I'm fine," when you are not. Stop agreeing with opinions you don't hold. Stop laughing at jokes that aren't funny. Stop doing things out of obligation. This will be terrifying. You will disappoint people. You might lose friends, but the friends you lose were attached to your mask, not to you. You are clearing the dead wood from your forest so that new growth can occur. Third, remember your death. Keep it close to you. Memento mori. Put a skull on your desk. Remind yourself every morning, "I will die." It could be today. This is not morbid. It is the ultimate clarifier. When you view your life through the lens of your mortality, the bullshit falls away. The expectations of others become irrelevant. The fear of embarrassment vanishes. All that remains is what is true. Fourth, create rather than consume. The system wants you passive. Be active. Write, draw, build, cook, garden, fix. Make something that did not exist before. Impose your will upon the world rather than letting the world impose its will upon you. Creativity is the opposite of slavery. Fifth, reconnect with the absurd. Read Camus. Realize that the search for objective meaning is futile, and that is good news. It means you are free to create your own meaning. You are the artist of your life. The canvas is blank. The system tried to sell you a paint-by-numbers kit, but you can throw it away. You can paint with your own blood, your own tears, your own joy. This path is not easy. The system will try to pull you back. It will use fear. It will use comfort. It will use shame. It will tell you that you are irresponsible, that you are crazy, that you are selfish. But ask yourself, is it selfish to want to be alive? Is it crazy to refuse to be a cog in a machine that is grinding up the planet and the human soul? You are standing at a threshold. Behind you is the warm, well-lit prison of the known. It is comfortable, but it is small, and it smells of stale air and dead dreams. Ahead of you is the dark, cold expanse of the unknown, the void, the wilderness. It is terrifying. There are no maps, there are no guarantees, but it is the only place where you can breathe. It is the only place where you can meet yourself. The dissatisfaction you feel is your compass. Follow it. It is leading you out of the labyrinth. Do not numb it. Do not hide from it. Let it tear you apart so that you can be put back together in a shape that the system cannot recognize and therefore cannot control. The door to the cage is open. It has been open the whole time. The only thing keeping you inside is the belief that you belong there. You don't. You belong to the wild. You belong to the truth. You belong to yourself. Walk through the door. If this resonates, consider subscribing. Now, let's go deeper. We must understand the mechanics of this psychological entrapment if we are to truly dismantle it. The system operates on a mechanism of manufactured scarcity. Not just scarcity of resources, but scarcity of self. It teaches you that you are incomplete. From the moment you are born, you are handed a deficit. You are not enough. You are not smart enough, pretty enough, rich enough, productive enough. This deficit is the engine of the global economy. If everyone woke up tomorrow and realized they were already whole, the GDP would collapse. The fashion industry, the beauty industry, the luxury car industry, the self-help industry, they all rely on the gap. The gap between who you are and who you think you should be. This gap is an illusion. It is an optical illusion of the psyche. But because you believe in it, you spend your life trying to fill it. You shovel money, status, relationships, and experiences into the gap. But it is a bottomless pit. You cannot fill a hole that doesn't exist. The only way to close the gap is to realize that the ground was solid all along. This realization is what the mystics call enlightenment, what the existentialists call authenticity. It is the simple, terrifying knowledge that there is nothing to get, nowhere to get to, and no one to become. You simply are. But the system hates being. The system loves becoming. Becoming implies a future. Becoming implies a process that can be managed, measured, and monetized. Being is elusive. Being is sovereign. When you are simply being, you are useless to the system as a consumer, but you become dangerous to the system as an example. You become a glitch in the matrix. You stop vibrating at the frequency of lack and start vibrating at the frequency of abundance. And I don't mean abundance of money, I mean the abundance of presence. The feeling that this moment, right now, with all its flaws, is sufficient. Let's dissect the relationship between trauma and the system. The system generates trauma. The schooling system, with its rigid rows, bells, and emphasis on rote memorization over creativity, is traumatic. It breaks the child's will. It teaches the child that their internal impulses are wrong and that external authority is right. The workplace, with its artificial hierarchies and suppression of human rhythm, is traumatic. The media, with its constant barrage of fear-mongering and impossible beauty standards, is traumatic. This low-level chronic trauma creates a population of dissociated individuals. Dissociation is a defense mechanism. When reality is too painful or too overwhelming, we check out. We float above our bodies. We live in a mental simulation. The system then steps in and offers solutions for the very trauma it created. It offers alcohol to numb the stress of the job. It offers retail therapy to soothe the wound of low self-worth. It creates a closed loop of injury and expensive band-aids. To break free, you must be willing to heal. And healing is not just bubble baths and affirmations. Healing is facing the wound. It is grieving the childhood you lost. It is raging at the betrayal. It is feeling the impact of the conditioning in your somatic tissue. You might feel a tightness in your throat. That is the silence you have swallowed. You might feel a heaviness in your gut. That is the intuition you have ignored. You might feel a tension in your shoulders. That is the burden of expectations you are carrying. To be free, you must inhabit your body again. You must descend from the tower of your mind into the dungeon of your visceral experience. It is dark down there. There are monsters, but the treasure is guarded by the dragon. You cannot get the gold without facing the fire. Let's talk about the other. The system thrives on division. It thrives on us versus them. It keeps you focused on political enemies, cultural wars, and petty rivalries so that you never look up at the puppet masters. It keeps you fighting your neighbor so you don't fight your jailer. But from the perspective of deep psychology and existentialism, the other is a mirror. What you hate in others is often what you repress in yourself. The judgment you heap upon the world is a projection of your own shadow. When you reclaim your shadow, when you own your own capacity for evil, for laziness, for greed, you stop projecting it onto the world. You become integrated, and an integrated human being is not easily manipulated by propaganda. The system relies on your moral vanity. It relies on you thinking you are one of the good ones. Wank. But, as Solzhenitsyn wrote, the line separating good and evil passes not through states, nor between classes, nor between political parties either, but right through every human heart. Acknowledging this line within yourself is an act of ultimate liberation. It frees you from the exhausting game of moral superiority. It allows you to have compassion, real compassion, not performative pity, for the human condition. We must also confront the myth of progress. You are told that history is a straight line moving upward, that technology will save us, that the future will be better. This is the secular religion of the modern world. But look around. Are we happier? Are we more connected? Are we more at peace? We have supercomputers in our pockets, but we are lonelier than ever. We have advanced medicine, but chronic illness is skyrocketing. We have infinite information, but zero wisdom. The myth of progress keeps you running on the treadmill. It keeps you believing that the solution is just around the corner. The next iPhone, the next election, the next scientific breakthrough. But this is a mirage. The human condition does not change. The questions that haunted Gilgamesh, that haunted Socrates, that haunted Hamlet, are the same questions that haunt you. Love, death, meaning, suffering. Technology changes the scenery, but the play remains the same. Do not look to the future for salvation. Do not look to progress. Look to the timeless. Look to the ancient. Look to the things that do not change. The sound of the wind, the bond of friendship, the courage of facing the dark. These are the anchors in the storm. If this resonates, consider subscribing. Let's return to the concept of regret. Bronnie Ware, a palliative care nurse, recorded the top 5 regrets of the dying. Number 1 was, I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. Number 2, I wish I hadn't worked so hard. These are not random sentiments. They are indictments of the system. The system is designed to maximize the exact behaviors that lead to these regrets. It is designed to make you work too hard and to make you live for others' expectations. Therefore, to live without regret, you must become an enemy of the system. You must be a conscientious objector to the norms of your society. This is not about being a criminal. It is about being a revolutionary of the soul. It means saying no when everyone else says yes. It means slowing down when everyone else is speeding up. It means choosing less money for more time. It means choosing deep connection over wide networking. It means valuing the invisible over the visible. You have to be willing to be seen as a failure by the standards of the matrix. If you are succeeding in a sick society, you are sick. If you are well adjusted to a profoundly abnormal situation, that is not a measure of health. Wear your failure like a badge of honor. It means you have rejected the false metrics. It means you are measuring your life by a different ruler, the ruler of the soul. Think of the concept of amor fati, the love of fate, Nietzsche's formula for greatness, to not just bear what happens to you, but to love it, to wish for nothing to be different, not forward, not backward, not in all eternity. This is the ultimate rejection of the system's conditioning. The system teaches you to be dissatisfied with what is, to always want more, to always want different. Amor fati is the radical acceptance of reality. It is saying yes to the pain, yes to the struggle, yes to the joy. When you love your fate, you are untouchable. You cannot be blackmailed by fear or bribed by hope. You are centered in the inevitable reality of your life. You become a fortress. But how do you practice this in a traffic jam? How do you practice this when the bills are piling up? You practice by shifting your perspective from victim to student. Every situation is a teacher. The traffic jam is teaching you patience. The debt is teaching you about value and simplicity. The heartbreak is teaching you about attachment and self-love. The system wants you to see yourself as a victim of circumstance so it can sell you a rescue. But you are the creator of your response. As Viktor Frankl realized in the concentration camp, the last of the human freedoms is the ability to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. They can take your body, your possessions, your status, but they cannot take your mind unless you give it to them. Don't give it to them. Let's address the fear of missing out, FOMO. This is a weaponized anxiety. The system bombards you with images of people having more fun, making more money, living better lives. It creates a state of chronic envy. But you must realize that you are always missing out. If you are reading a book, you are missing out on a movie. If you are in Paris, you are missing out on Tokyo. If you are married, you are missing out on the freedom of being single. If you are single, you're missing out on the intimacy of marriage. You cannot have it all. The desire to have it all is a recipe for having nothing, because you are never fully present where you are. The antidote to FOMO is JOMO, the joy of missing out. It is the relief of knowing that you are exactly where you are supposed to be. It is the commitment to the choice you have made. Depth requires narrowing. You cannot dig a deep well if you are digging 1,000 shallow holes. Choose your path and walk it. Let the other paths fade. Let the other lives go. Mourn them and then bury them. Focus on the life you are actually living. The richness is not in the variety, it is in the intensity. It is in the attention you bring to the small, mundane details of your day. The coffee in the morning, the light on the wall, the texture of your own breath. This is where God is hiding, not in the fantasy of the better life, but in the texture of the actual life. Finally, let us speak of the hero's journey. The system has tried to kill the hero. It wants consumers, not heroes. It wants employees, not warriors. But the archetype of the hero lives in your DNA. The call to adventure is the dissatisfaction you feel. The refusal of the call is the anxiety and the numbing. The belly of the whale is the depression, the dark night of the soul. You are in the belly of the whale right now. It is dark. It smells of rot. You feel alone. But this is part of the story. You are being digested. The false self is being stripped away. The ego is being dissolved. Do not panic. Let the acid do its work. Let the illusions dissolve. When you emerge, you will not be the same person who went in. You will be lighter. You will be stronger. You will have the elixir of truth. And your job then is to bring that elixir back to the world, to show others that it is possible to live differently, to be a lighthouse for those who are still crashing on the rocks of the system. You are not a cog. You are not a number. You are a universe wrapped in skin. The silence you fear is the doorway to your power. The death you fear is the advisor at your shoulder. The emptiness you feel is the space where the new can enter. Stop running. Stop scrolling. Stop performing. Turn around and face the dog that is chasing you. Look it in the eye. You will find that it is not a wolf, but your own shadow, waiting to be acknowledged, waiting to be integrated, waiting to come home. The system has built a cage, but it forgot to lock the door. It relies on the prisoner remaining seated. Stand up.